All right, we also had 3 state primaries last night. Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas. We also had the runoffs in Texas. What did we learn? First of all, this is important. The data reflects that despite what we were all told about Jim Crow 2.0 and about how unfair the new voting laws were going to be, here's the data. 1.9 million people voted in the primary in Georgia. That is a 63% increase over how many people voted in the primary in 2018. And it's nearly as many people as voted in the 2020 primary, which was a presidential election year and created massive interest in turnouts. The percentage of the turnout, 63% of the voters were Republican. Brian Kemp crushed David Perdue. Herschel Walker locks up the nomination. Herschel, by the way, offshore, minus 250, the favorite to win this election against Raphael Warnock. And Governor Kemp now minus 400 to beat Stacey Abrams. What are my takeaways from Georgia? My takeaways from Georgia in particular are twofold. One, people are finished with 2020. You can be angry about the outcome of 2020. You can believe that based on COVID, the 2020 election was rigged, but people are over that, and they are ready to have a referendum on Joe Biden and Stacey Abrams inside the state of Georgia. So fighting the rear guard action of what happened in 2020, Georgians are sending the message 2022 is about the Biden administration and Stacey Abrams potentially running for governor. It is not in any way a referendum on what happened in 2020. So elections are forward thinking, not backward thinking. On top of that, Donald Trump, I do believe he's going to run in 2024, but he needs to look at these election results, in my opinion, and recognize that what people want from him is not a relitigation of 2020. It's a systemic attack on everything that Joe Biden has done as president. And what Trump, if I were sitting across from him, I would tell him this exact thing. What Trump needs to understand is the 2024 election and certainly the 2022 midterms are not a referendum on him. They're a referendum on the sitting president, Joe Biden. Republicans are going to win landslides in 2022 and in 2024 if they make this a referendum on Joe Biden and the Democrat Party failures instead of making it a referendum on Donald Trump. What Democrats are going to try to do is make 2022 and 2024 a referendum on Donald Trump as opposed to having to defend their own disastrous policy decisions that have led to 40-year high inflation, the worst border security at our southern border of all time, record high rates of murder all over the country, a war in Europe, a baby formula shortage, and continued inability to make this country work for the vast majority of Americans. Easy question. Are you better off now with Joe Biden president, or were you better off with Donald Trump president? I don't know there's very many people who can say they're better off for Joe Biden as president. So the referendum, what Georgia is telling us is it's about the future, Stacey Abrams, and the direction of the country in terms of the votes. And two, if you're going to win in 2022 or 2024, you run against Joe Biden and what the Democrats have done, as opposed to trying to make this a referendum on 2020 and whatever happened in that election. In Alabama, we got a runoff between Mo Brooks and Katie Britt. Katie Britt won substantially. We've invited both of them to come on the program. So far, Mo Brooks has agreed to come on. In Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who was formerly the president's spokesperson in the White House, is going to be the next governor of Arkansas. And in Texas, the final member of the Bush family, George P. Bush, appears to have lost his race for attorney general. Those are the big takeaways in general from what was seen. But from a sports perspective, I am demanding yet again Major League Baseball apologize to the city of Atlanta, to the Atlanta Braves, and bring back the All-Star game. I want Rob Manfred to acknowledge that he got everything completely wrong, that far from this being Jim Crow 2.0 and a voter suppression bill, the number of voters has actually skyrocketed, up 63% over the numbers that voted in the midterms in 2018. Nearly more people voted in 2022 in a midterm than voted in a presidential election year, which is unheard of. The election of 2022, based on this data, is going to have far more voters than the election of 2018 did. I believe Herschel Walker and Brian Kemp are going to win, and the people of the state of Georgia are going to give back control of the Senate to Republicans and go ahead and keep their incumbent governor, Brian Kemp, in office going forward.